Alana in New York. Alana, what's going on?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm going fantastic. I have here that you wanted to talk to us about religious family dynamics.
Yeah, actually, a lot of my family is still, very Christian.
And how's that going?
Definitely. It's kind of awkward. We have a lot of arguments. I mean, we still love each other and stuff. We had a pretty bad argument today.
Tell me about that.
It can be kind of frustrating because they kind of look at you differently.
Alana, I'm curious as I'm listening to you. How old are you?
Oh, sorry. I'm 15.
Okay. So you're still in the house.
Yes, very much still in the house.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because that's a dynamic all by itself because, you know, like you're kind of not economically independent. You're kind of under the thumb a little bit. And that puts you it's very difficult, isn't it, to kind of be in a Christian household where kind of the whole rules are defined by Christianity. And you're like, I'm not sure I buy this. I don't think I do.
A Christian household as an atheist and gay, so that's always fun.
Tough, isn't it?
It's kind of interesting. I mean, at first it was kind of normal, and then after a while, it kind of changes. And the dynamic kind of
go on, Bart.
shifted. What were you trying to say?
Well, Alana, I guess, and I'm wondering, is there a specific issue or question that you've got, or you're just sort of like, help? Where do I start?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly great at arguing. I kind of have some issues with anxiety, so.
I say,
I feel like my heart's about to fall out of my chest.
Yeah, I say if you're not great at arguing, that might be a good thing. You know, maybe this isn't a great time to argue with people. But I'm sure Bart has a lot.
Alana, there's one thing that being secular and being gay in a family like yours has in common, and that is that a lot of times the people in your family will think that you're making a choice when in fact there's no choice. People don't choose their sexual orientation, and people don't choose what they believe. Like, you know, and so I think one of the important things when you get into an argument, there's a sort of an understanding of like, look, you've decided to take this position and I've decided to take this position. And I'm going to try to convince you to make a different decision. And I think it's very important when you're in these conversations to stop a person right at the beginning and say, listen, I want to get things clear here. It's not that I won't or that I reject God or that I hate God. I can't believe in God. I'm unable to do so. And sometimes I'll say to my Christian friend, I say, if I put a gun to your head right now and said, I'm going to kill you, and after I kill you, I'm going to kill your whole family. If you don't accept Islam as the truth, I'm going to put you on a lie detector test. And the question is, can you reliably promise me that you believe in Islam? I say, could you do it? And they always say, oh no, I could never deny Jesus. Even if I wanted to, even if I was motivated, I don't believe in Islam. That doesn't seem true to me. Christianity is what I believe is the truth. And I said, that's right. You couldn't if you wanted to. And I said, that's what you need to understand about Alana or Dan or me.
Yeah.
Is that even if we wanted to, I mean, believe me, Alana, my life would have been a lot easier if I could have believed in Jesus, and so would yours. But even if we wanted to, we're not able to. It's not a choice for us. And so I think that sometimes that changes the conversation a little bit, because then you're able to sort of say to the person, what I'm wondering, Mom, is what do you think Jesus would want a person like me to do? What do you think Jesus would want a person like me who can't believe in God to do? And so I think it's important to sort of set it up as a can't, not a won't, because if it's a won't, then it means you don't like them. You reject them. You think what they are is evil or wrong, and that hurts them. They feel rejected by you. I think it's important to put it in that other category. The other thing that's really important is to be able to speak Christian well enough to say to your family, you know, the Bible teaches that we're saved by grace through faith. And this, not of yourselves, says the Apostle Paul, faith is the gift of God. And so if you really want me to come back to the faith, the person you should be talking to isn't me. You should be talking to God and asking him to give me the ability to believe in him. You should be praying for me, but you shouldn't be arguing with me, because I can't believe in God unless God gives me the ability to do so. It's out of my hands.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And this is interesting too, because this kind of contrasts with the narrative that we're sometimes taught in Christianity, at least what I was taught, was this idea was, oh, we have free will to choose whether to follow Jesus Christ or not. It's always a choice. You don't have to. You could go have those relationships with those women like you were talking about. You can go gamble and drink and do these things, but you have to make the choice to follow Jesus or whatever kind of, faith that might ascribe to, when it doesn't actually seem like that's the case, at least for a lot of us. It seems like, at least I know for myself, this was a conclusion that I had to come to on my own. Yeah. And in order for me to believe again, I have to follow that same methodology that I did before, follow that same process of looking at evidence, seeing if things are true or not, seeing, what limited powers I have as a human being to decipher my reality and see if the kind of God concepts are matching up with that kind of picture of reality. Yeah.
One more thing, Alana. Mm-hmm. One more thing I would say to you is that I don't know if you found any support, any mentors, maybe in the LGBTQ community, but I want to really encourage you, just as I was talking with Dan earlier about articulating, being able to know in your heart, like, I want to find some people to support me. I want to find an older woman who can mentor me. I'm looking for role models. I'm looking for people who can show me how to navigate the world as a secular gay woman. I think, like, you need to be on the lookout for that, because nobody can figure out this life all by themselves. And especially with somebody like you who's got, I would say, in diving, we would say you're doing a dive with a high degree of difficulty. And I just really want to encourage you, rather than trying to figure everything out by yourself, to go, like, the first thing I'm going to figure out is how to find some people to help me figure things out. And calling into a show like this is great. But one of the things I would say is, like, hey, when you hear somebody like me or like Dan on the show, write them an email and say, hey, here's my story. Do you know anybody I should talk to? Do you know anything I should read? Can you steer me a little bit? Can you show, do you know a woman who would be because I know a woman who would be fabulous for you to talk to, and I'm not going to tell you who she is. But I am going to tell you that if you send me an email and remind me of this conversation, I'm going to hook you up with a really fabulous woman who would be willing to talk with you and correspond with you and support you in your life. And that's what you're going to need to do, is you're going to need to hustle to get the support that you need at this moment in your life. Are you hearing me on this?
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Good. Because I'm dead serious. This isn't like just to, like, as an example, Alana, you could send me an email. It's like, I'm telling you, you send me an email, I'm going to hook you up with a really good woman.
You want to give that email real quick while Alana's still on the line? We're going to plug some stuff at the show too at the very end. So
no, the easiest way to find me is you just go to bartcampolo.org, my website, and there's a place there where it says contact. And like, honestly, if you hit that, there's no office, there's no assistant, it just goes right to my email, which is bartcampolo@gmail.com.
Yeah. And I want to add too, if you want to contact me, I have an email address as well. It's truth@atheist-community.org. And we have a Discord where the ACA and all the other shows, they kind of combined into one Discord. If you look up the Atheist Community of Austin Discord, you'll find it. You can talk to people, like, as long as somebody's online, there's somebody to talk to on there as well. And we've got people all around the world who are willing to talk to other people about where they're at in life and stuff. And of course, there's all kinds of resources.
And that's true. I got to tell you though, if you're 16 years old, one of the things I'm just a little word to the wise, Alana, is listen to people on these podcasts, listen to people that you hear interviewed. And when you find somebody who sounds trustworthy to you, then get the hookups through them rather than going straight into these chat rooms or these discussion boards, because sometimes you're going to find people that are going to give you crazy ass advice.
That's true too. Yeah. And
they mean well. And so there's a sense in which you need to make sure you go like, hey, that person's vibe, that person's, I've listened to, like, I think about Anthony Magnabosco, who's Dan's friend. Mm-hmm. And I listened to him over the course of a variety of things. And finally I was like, you know what? This guy, he's consistently making sense to me. I'm going to reach out to him. He sounds like a trustworthy person, and he proved to be just that. And so you got to be careful. You got to be careful out there, because there are a lot of people full of a lot of shit.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I know some people like that.
Yeah, we all do.
It's the internet. You know, there's always going to be people out there like that.
I spend too much time on the internet. I know plenty of people like that.
Don't we all? I definitely do. Yeah. Well, Alana, I hope this was a helpful call. I hope you got something out of this.
It was very helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You have a great day.
We'll talk to you later. All right.
Yeah. Bart, let me tell you something, Bart. I'm a lucky man in a lot of ways. Because the first time when I was first having doubts, one of the first people I got to talk to was Anthony Magnabosco. And then when I was really struggling, I got to talk to you. And not a lot of people can say that. That just happened by circumstance. I wasn't, like, you didn't know who I was. I didn't know who Anthony was. And it just kind of happened in life. One might say that God might have designed a plan for me to meet certain people in my life. But, that's not really the narrative I prescribe under these days.
No, but you know what, Dan? I will tell you this, is that it isn't accidental, in the sense that you were real clear on what kind of person you wanted to be. And when you saw people that you felt like had something to offer you, you didn't hesitate to go and ask for their help. Mm. And sometimes people see somebody like Matt Hunte, who seems a little unapproachable. And yet when I emailed him and asked him if he would help answer a question for me, he was like, oh, sure. And so not everybody's going to be responsive, but like, part of the reason that you're connected to good people is that you were clear on what you're trying to do in your life. And then you asked. And I think a lot of people are hesitant to ask. And what they don't realize is that while the number of atheists in the world is gigantic, the number of people that are dead serious about pursuing love and goodness as a way of life, it's much smaller. Mm. And you know what? If somebody is committed to that lifestyle and you show up and you look like an eager beaver, they're going to want to help you, because like, there's nothing more exciting than helping another person grow and have a better life. Yeah. You just feel awesome. I mean, our brains are literally hardwired. All sorts of endorphins drop when we're able to be helpful to another member of the tribe. And so you're smart because you ask, because when you ask, you're giving another person a chance to feel awesome about themselves.
It's true. I mean, I have a call-in show every week, right? Like, I love helping people with this stuff.
Yeah,
if it's not me, it's my guest host, because Lord knows I only know so much. But yeah.
I don't know if the Lord knows that, but I know it.
Well, that's true. There it is, man. There it is.
It's all there. That language is just
The language is still it's coming out because I'm talking to you, Bart.
You know the thing is, I embrace a lot of that language. Like
Yeah.
I got no problem like you say, are you a minister? Of course I'm a minister. I try to directly address the needs of people who are struggling. You go like, are you building a fellowship? Yeah, of course. There's a bunch of people that share the same value system, and like, yeah, of course. Like don't let the Christians hold on to all the good words.
Right. It's like a code switching thing almost. Yeah, I use that more with other Christians than I do with other kinds of people.
And to speak to Alana, like one of the things that makes me effective at talking with Christians is that I speak their language.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I feel the same way about myself. I hope I come across that way to other Christians when I talk to them, but we'll see.